Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Media Awareness and another somewhat topical video. Before I go any further, please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of my ever growing YouTube family. I'd love to have you. Also, please like, share, and comment below. And if you're not comfortable commenting in the comment section, you are more than welcome to contact me via the Facebook link in the description. I also accept Facebook Pay, so if you'd like to contribute to my channel and keep it up and running, that's a good way to do so. If you're not comfortable with that, there is always my Patreon link, which is also found in the description right below the Facebook link. And that's another way to contribute to keep media awareness up and running. In addition to that, you'll find the Amazon Media Awareness wish list, where you can pick and choose items for me to unbox, review, etc. So, I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I just finished rewatching the television series Lost. And it's on Hulu for those of you who stream. I have it on DVD, and I also stream things, but I am very much about supporting physical media, so that's me. But I want to sort of go through and illustrate some of the observations I made regarding Lost, and some of the how should I put this, changes societal changes that have occurred since the program originally aired. And there have been quite a few. And it's kind of funny in a way because you don't realize when you're watching something of its time, in its time, that several years down the road, things are going to change conceivably. And my oh my, have they changed? So, for those of you who do not know the television series Lost and who do not want the series spoiled, I will tell you stop watching here because there will be spoilers ahead. If you're not if you have watched the series or if you don't care, that's one thing. Also, please do not be alarmed. I didn't feel like turning on the overhead light, and I feel like the lighting in here was just perfect for this video on Lost. It kind of seems like a different sort of dimensional space, if you will. Uh, so, the show, of course, focuses on survivors of a plane crash on this mystery quote unquote island, and no one's coming to rescue them. And what I was watching when I was rewatching it, one of the first things that sort of jumped out at me was the I don't want to say clean cut, but the very normal, for lack of better words, appearance of all of the characters. And I'm not talking about body types or uh, any type of physical characteristics that are natural. Um, I'm talking more so about personal accessories, piercings, tattoos. And there is a comment that's made to our main character Jack about his tattoo, and that I believe it was Sawyer didn't think that he would be the type to have one because he's a doctor. and he mentions they got it at a certain location and what he felt it meant, or at least what he was told that meant. And I thought to myself, my oh my, times have changed. The last time I was in the hospital, which was in October of 2022, uh, I was treated by doctors and nurses and orderlies, and there was not one person on staff that did not have one or more tattoos that were visible. In addition to that, piercings as well. I found it rather interesting as an observation, and I also think that as a culture, we're becoming more accepting of those types of things, and it's long overdue. I feel like tattoos and piercings for the longest time were relegated to certain populations. You know, bikers, musicians, uh, certain people of a certain stature. And now they are prominent pretty much with everyone. And I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that at least 1 in 5 people that any of us know have tattoos or more. I have 2 myself, and I do plan on getting more. I did have a couple piercings, however, they did not work out and I needed to remove them. That was painful, but we won't talk about that. It was just something that I noticed that when watching Lost, I thought, wow, you know, there's a certain stigma that was present when that show started in roughly 2004, and characters that would have tattoos and piercings today that were on that show then who did not. Just it struck me as rather odd, and it's sort of a sign of the times, really. And it dates the show, but at the same time, it makes the show relevant in terms of looking back on it as being a different time, which it was entirely. So there's that aspect. There's also a lot of these mystery elements to the show. And the mysteries really start to unfold after the polar bear incident and after the smoke monster makes itself known with the hatch. And the hatch, of course, is the ultimate cliffhanger of season 1 when they actually get the hatch open. And it's like, oh my god, what's down there? What's in there? Meanwhile, you have this sort of love triangle going on with Jack, Kate, and Sawyer, which is stereotypical of most TV shows of its time. But it takes an interesting twist when we are introduced to other survivors on the other side of the island. And we see this certain bond of some sort initially starting to come together between Sawyer and Ana Lucia, but then it becomes more of Jack and Ana Lucia. Until Ana Lucia is, of course, dealt with by Michael, who's trying to get in touch with his son Walt. And the cast is just superb. You have a lot of HBO alumni on the cast. Um, and that was really impressive. And not just from uh, specific shows, across the board, different shows. And you have a lot of newcomers who made their way into the spotlight via Lost. But what really struck me was the how the mysticism of the island itself and the properties of it being this magical sort of place, otherworldly, how it was formulated, how it built gradually. It wasn't something that bogged you down necessarily in the first episode or second. It took 6 seasons for that to evolve. And it was only really in the sixth season and final season where we finally see what the island is really all about. We get some glimpses earlier, and there's some great moments with time jumping and these uh, instabilities that are brought about on the island due to a wheel being turned inside the island, which I think is one of the coolest concepts of all time. Just having this wheel turned to move the island, and yet it's moving, but because the wheel is not secure, it's not stabilizing in time and space. So it keeps jumping, and it's affecting people that are on the island in profound ways. We also see new characters join the cast as the show progresses, which I think is also an asset to the ever growing plot of Lost. Because we're not just isolated to what we have on the island. We have the others. We have, well, Danielle, of course. We have the research team that had come to quote unquote rescue the people on the island, even though that wasn't their motive. But they all become intricate parts of the plot line, and it just amazes me how well developed it all comes together. And of course, who can forget Drive Shaft, the legendary rock band Drive Shaft. I love how this band was sort of made to emulate Oasis, the band Oasis, in a lot of ways, in hindsight, and how looking back on it was just like really, it was obvious. Two brothers having formed this band, one being the key writer and the other one being the front man. And what's even funnier is there's, I think, an intentional moment where Charlie, one of the members of Drive Shaft, who's stranded on the island, the bass player and songwriter, in fact, is shown playing acoustic guitar for money during a alternate time flash, playing Wonderwall. And I thought, wow, wonder how many people really picked up on that and how intentional that actually was. I'm willing to bet quite intentional. What really stood out to me, though, throughout the course of the show was just the writing, the character development over the course of time. I absolutely love the character of Juliet. She is one of those amazingly strong female characters. She doesn't take anything from anyone. She knows what she wants, and she's willing to put her life on the line. And she does. And it's characters like that who really make the show an amazing thing. You have the uh, some of the tropes of stereotypical TV thrown in there, but not a lot. Not a lot at all. And for its time, it was really cutting edge show. If it was done now, it would still be a cutting edge show. The finale of the show was controversial. And I have to admit, personally, I myself was a bit up in the air about the finale. And there are aspects of it that still bother me to this day. But overall, if you're going to end a show like Lost, you kind of have to end it in a questionable manner. I do think that it did answer too many questions that didn't need answering. I do think that it didn't need to explain things as much as it did, but I know also that people were expecting answers to questions they've had for 6 seasons. Now, if I were writing the show, I wouldn't have given those answers, or I would have just hinted at things, but still made them wonder and still made them guess, because that's just the kind of person I am. But uh, in rewatching it recently, I came to appreciate the finale a lot more. I still don't like it as much as the rest of the episodes, and I do think it could have been done slightly better. But overall, in terms of wrapping up the story, I think it did a good job. It could have gone many other ways, but they chose to take it in that direction. So, yeah, Lost, a show that redefined television and kept the majority of people around the world on the edge of their seats for 6 seasons. That is quite an achievement. And interestingly, the plot and the overarching story was mapped out to be 6 seasons long. No more, no less. I'm sure ABC, who I think believed, yeah, ABC aired Lost. I'm pretty sure that they would have liked to have milked it for a lot more. Have maybe go for 7, 8, maybe 9 seasons. But I think it was just perfect at the length it was. I like a lot of the mysterious elements that come up in later seasons, like season 5, 6, and 7. No, five and six, 4, 5, and 6 really are probably my favorite um, seasons. I do love seasons 1 through 3, and I especially love season 3. But I do think that seasons 4, 5, and 6 are probably my favorite seasons. And they're littered with mysteries and just constant questioning of different people and their motives and true intentions and just so many different things. And the others are just this amazing group of people and the Dharma initiative that was present on the island and that the others took over basically in terms of their equipment and housing, etc. That was brilliant, brilliant writing. And the flash forwards that reference the Dharma Initiative and that certain people should have stayed and so on and so forth are really interesting to think on how things would have been different for a lot of these characters. So there you have my vague yet thorough thoughts on Lost. And I want to recommend to anyone who has not watched Lost in a long time. Rewatch the series from beginning to end. Do not skip any episodes. Also, if you have not watched Lost, please do yourself a favor and watch it. Especially if you're creative minded and you like to think and you like things to have long term payoffs. Seeds that are planted in beginning that aren't really uh, developed entirely until much, much later, but they're hinted at along the way and they evolve along the way. Things like that make Lost amazing, and that's why you should check it out. This is Rob with Media Awareness. I hope you enjoyed this video on the television show Lost. If you would like to need to do any spotlight videos on any other television series or literature or whatever, leave it in the comments below or feel free to shoot me a private message via Facebook. I'd love to know your thoughts on Lost as well. And on anything else you'd like me to cover. I do plan on covering Battlestar Galactica as well. Both the original series as well as the much superior in my opinion, Ronald D. Moore reimagined series. And all of its offshoots, Caprica, Blood and Chrome, different things that stemmed from Ronald D. Moore's amazing series, as well as some other things I have along the way, Babylon 5 being one of them. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments or privately on Facebook, and I will see you all soon. Please also don't forget you can contribute to my channel via Facebook Pay. It would be greatly appreciated, or you're welcome to visit my Patreon link and support the channel there. Also, a like and a share go a long way. So if you're not comfortable or you don't have the means to contribute to the channel financially, a like and a share can do just as well and are greatly appreciated. Also, please bear in mind that the Amazon Media Awareness wish list is in the description. Feel free to peruse it and let me know if you'd like me to cover anything on there specifically, and I will do my best to obtain it and do so. I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.